Alright, what's up everybody? I'm here with Jared today, and we are going to be doing a very special video. We're going to be predicting, in honor of the MLB playoffs, we're going to be predicting the brackets, the playoff brackets. As you guys know, MLB is not really my best knowledge. Jared's over here, he knows a little bit more about it than I do. NBA is more my thing. And if you guys know, me and Jay are going to be doing a video. We don't know I guess we don't really know like the status on that yet. More information is to come about that, and we don't really know when the right time is going to be to do that. So any new information I have on that, I'm going to let you guys know. If you guys have not checked out my channel, go check out my channel, and that's going to be in the description down below. Jared's will be in the description down below as well. And I'll kind of let Jared introduce himself and kind of talk about him.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared, and like he said, he doesn't know as much about MLB as I do. But what we're really going to be doing is we have the brackets printed out, and we have our own predictions. We have who we think is going to advance to the next round and eventually go on from the first round to the championship. And tonight, we're going to be explaining, because I haven't really paid attention this much this season to the MLB stats, but I know enough to know like who's where and everything. So, yeah, we're gonna be doing our predictions. So, did you want to go first, Mike?
Yeah, I'll go first. So,
or did you want me to go first?
I can go first for me too, whatever works. All right, so for the Rays and the Jays,
I'm gonna let you go ahead and go.
All right. So first game, the Rays and the Jays. I got the Rays in that series. I mean, the Jays got some young talent. Don't get me wrong, but overall, I think the Rays are just a better overall team. You know, I think that while the Jays have a lot more young players, you know, the Rays just have a lot more, I guess, firepower. And especially with the first round being 3, I think the Rays will take this pretty easy. I'll let Jared go now.
Okay, so before I go, what you have to say, like, in how many games? So how many games do you think they will beat the Blue Jays in?
I mean, I think it'll be 2. I don't think they're gonna really win one.
It'll be 2.
I think it'll be 2. Yeah. I think they'll be decently good games. I think that I don't think it's gonna be blowouts, but I just don't see the Jays really doing much.
All right. So since we're doing Tampa Bay and Toronto first, did you want to go AL to NL, which means next we would do Dodgers and Milwaukee, or did you want to do all AL first or all AL?
Yeah, I say we just go all AL and then go to NL. Yeah. So
all AL.
Go all AL. Like just go down the list and then go down the list on the other side. Yeah.
All right. So for Tampa and the Blue Jays, I have Tampa as well beating Toronto, but I have them winning 2-1 because Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for Toronto and their young guys, they have really been strong. They've had a strong season, and I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think the first game. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention under the team names, I'm gonna be putting down who I think will win what game. So I think the first game will go to Tampa Bay because you have Blake Snell starting. Blake Snell, awesome arm, like one of the best in the majors. I think they're taking game 1. Game 2, I'm not really sure. I didn't see yet, but I'm not sure who's starting for either team. Actually, that's a lie. That's a lie. For Tampa, it's going to be Tyler Glasnow. Tyler Glasnow, I think, has been inconsistent, really. So I see Toronto taking, I don't know who's starting for Toronto, but I see Toronto taking game 2. And then game 3, that's a to be determined on who's starting for the starting pitchers. But like you said, I think Tampa is more experienced. They made the playoffs last year. Toronto hasn't made it since, I'd say, 2017, 2016. And the young guys, I've noticed a lot, especially in hockey too. When you have a young team, some of them can be in the playoffs nervous. The pressure will get to them. and that really hurts. So I have Tampa Bay advancing to the one of the ALDS, pardon me, one of the AL series, 2-1. I have that one 2-1.
And I think
Next,
go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Next we would do Cleveland and the Yankees, but I'm gonna let you go first on that one.
Yeah. So before we go on to that though, I want to say I think Jared made a few good points there. You got Vladimir Jr. Man, that is a strong hitter, and like he said, like that's the kind of team that this team has, and that's why I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be, a lot of runs scored. But I mean, overall, I just because of the experience, because of the different kind of team that Tampa Bay has, I see them winning. But I do agree with Jared. I do think it'll definitely be a series because of players like Vladimir Jr. So very good point made there. As far as when it comes to the Indians and the Yankees, me and Jared actually were talking a little bit about this last night, and I said I changed things up a little bit. I said the Yankees originally.
What changed your mind?
And I went with the Indians, and here's why. This is the kind of team. The Indians are the kind of team, and I'm an Indians fan, even though I'm all Steelers and pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
This is just a team, man, that when this team starts rallying, you don't know what they're going to do. You got people like Lindor. You got people like Jose. Dude, Jose, you never know what this guy's going to do. You had a lot of guys that came in, really late, started blooming really late in the season. You got like Franmil Reyes. This guy started off really slow in the year. But he came in really, really hot towards the end of the year, and he really started helping this team win. And Santana was the same way. Carlos Santana was the same way.
I forgot they had Carlos Santana.
Yeah. They got players like this, and a guy I really want to bring up is Delano DeShields. This was a guy who, in the beginning of the year, was not on the team's starting roster, and was called up due to injuries. And this guy started hitting well. He was a part of that Corey Kluber trade from the Texas Rangers, and he started making a huge impact, man. I think this guy is going to be an X factor for this team. And another the only downfall I see of this is sometimes the Indians hitting can be inconsistent. But I think when they get this their offense rolling, they're a very hard team to beat. And most importantly, the pitching for the Indians. I mean, they showed all year that they're going to be a powerhouse. You got people like Bieber. You have a few young guys like Seville. You got Carrasco's on there, and they made a few moves in the bullpen to get a few extra pitchers. So I like their bullpen. I like their pitching. I think if this is the right at the right times, this team gets hot. And I think once they get rallying, they're really tough to beat. And the Yankees, though, I mean, I'm not saying this isn't a tough team. I think this is definitely going to be in 3 games. I think the Yankees will probably take game 1, and I think that the Indians will finish off the last 2. I think the Yankees is going to be a very tough task for the Indians, but I do think after kind of thinking about the momentum the Indians have brought in, the way that these guys are hitting, and just the overall pitching they have, I think they're going to be a very tough team to beat, and I don't think you can write them out. So I'm taking the Indians, even though I think it will be in 3 games and be a really hard-fought, back-and-forth series. So that's what I'm saying. I'll let Jared go.
I like that. Like what you said about the Indians, they're very inconsistent with their hitting. But I'd like to mention the Yankees, too. The Yankees, when was it? I was watching a game, was it yesterday or the day before? They said that since 2014, the first 4 games of 2014, or I'm sorry, 5 games of 2014, they had not gone 5 or more games without a home run. They did that this week. They went 5 or more games without a home run.
Okay.
Even though the Yankees' hitting is inconsistent, their pitching is what I think will take this. I have the Yankees going in 3. I have the Yankees going on in 3. Dude, Garrett Cole, Zach Britton, they got, I think, in the off season, Aroldis Chapman to close it out. Probably the best arm in the game, the best left-handed arm in the game, like closer-wise. And then you have Jay Happ, who is a bit older, but he can still get it done, barring any injuries. But then you got guys like Mike Voigt. Voigt is one of the best hitters in the league. So I think that the Yankees defense can really take this, but I'm not counting out Cleveland at all. I think they'll win at least one game with the guys that you mentioned, and I know getting rid of Clevenger. I think they're the ones that got rid of Clevenger.
Yeah, they did. They traded Clevenger, and then they traded Greg Allen in that deal.
Greg Allen, that's right. I think getting rid of Clevenger won't really hurt them that much.
No, I don't think so.
They got into the playoffs. So I don't know, but I have the Yankees going in 3 mainly because of their defense. If they can keep the ball off the bats of the Yankees, they got this. But I think it'll be a hard fought series, and I have the Yankees taking game 1 and 3, and I have Cleveland taking game 2. Oh, and if I look down, I'm looking at the stats. So
yeah, I'm also looking at my bracket too a little bit. So,
okay.
But yeah, some good points were made there. That's why I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk for the Indians either. I think all these games are going to be really, really well played. I don't think it's going to be any kind of blowouts or anything. Because you look at, like Jared said, the Yankees pitching, man, is arguably just as good as the Indians. I mean, that's what I think will be like a big factor, is like who comes in and pitches better and shows that they're the better pitching team. A guy I want to bring up on the Yankees team is Giovanni Urshela, who was actually an Indian at one time, and this guy really came up, really started doing well, really excelled as a hitter, and so I think that he's another guy for for the Yankees that will really determine whether they do well, and I think he's another guy that we'll really have to look out for in that lineup. So I think it's going to be a really good series. I think we both made really good points there. So now we're down to the Twins and Astros. I'll let you talk first on this one.
Okay, before we go on to that, I forgot to mention Masahiro Tanaka. One of the best arms.
Yes, sir.
So, dude, I mean, I'm going Yankees because of their pitching. You got Zach Britton, Luis Cessa, Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Cole, Chad Green, Jay Happ. You got Masahiro Tanaka. You got guys like that really can, I think, outpitch and outplay defensively the Cleveland Indians. So
that's a very good point. Very good point. I forgot about him, and that's why I think and like you said, like you're not counting the Indians out. I'm definitely not counting the Yankees out. I think this is the kind of series where it can really go either way. It really can go either way just because of the pitching. That's going to be the biggest factor, man. And so very, very good points made there. I'll let you go ahead and talk about the Twins and Astros if you're ready.
One last thing on that series first.
Yeah.
I agree with you too. Like the same thing. If I went with Cleveland, I would have said something similar to what I said about the Yankees. They have really good pitchers too. So if they can take it, they can prove me wrong. That would have to be their defense too. Their pitching. If they can keep the balls off the bats of the Cleveland or the Yankees, my bad, then they can take it. But I don't see the Indians winning this one. Okay, on to Minnesota and Houston. First of all, this is bittersweet because
this is a tough one to look at. This is tough.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a very tough one to match up and say like this is who I think is going to win. This is a tough series to judge. I used
to be a Houston Astros fan, but after the cheating stuff, I'm back to the Pirates. Houston and Pittsburgh, my two favorites. My two favorites. But now it's just on to Pittsburgh, who obviously can't do jack shit in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not doing too well for themselves.
Yeah, they can't do jack crap in the regular season anyway. All right.
Right.
On to Minnesota and Houston. I haven't paid too much attention to Houston this year, but they still have some of the same guys as they did in the World Series of last year that made it to the World Series and lost to Washington, and the same guys that made it to the World Series against LA in 2017 and ended up losing that one. Winning that one, actually. They ended up winning the World Series that year. They have George Springer. I think they still have Yuli Gurriel. I'm not sure about that. They have.
I want to say they do. I want to say they do.
That. I'm not sure, but I know Tampa. I think Toronto has his brother, his younger brother.
We'll put something up in the video that says like if he is or isn't. I'll add something up in there.
Okay.
So we can confirm that. But I want to say he still is.
I want to say he still is too, because I know they lost Garrett Cole from last year. I know that they lost him to the Yankees, and then honestly, even though you have JV Justin Verlander, who's hurt right now, I think with Tommy John.
Yeah, it was Tommy John. Yeah.
I have the Yankees. Or I'm sorry, I'm back at that series. I have the Astros winning in 3 games. I don't know much about Minnesota, but I know that they're young. I know that they have good bats. That's why they're sitting third, obviously, because they're better than Houston. I know that Houston's bats have been inconsistent this year. That's one thing. Their offense has been inconsistent, and yeah, but they have Zach Greinke. And who else do they have? I know they have Zach Greinke and a few youngsters in the rotation that can really, really outpitch Minnesota. Like I said, I'm not sure too much on who Minnesota has, but I know that the Astros have, I think, in my opinion, better pitching than the Twins. They have Luis Garcia, Zach Greinke, Lance McCullers Jr., who is back, Ryan Presley, who was really good last year, Cy Snead, who I haven't seen much of, but I know he's pretty decent, and Jose Urquidy, I think. Jose Urquidy. Urquidy is a really good rookie. But yeah, I have Houston going. I think it'll be another 1-2-3. So I have actually Minnesota taking game 1, and then I have Houston taking game 1, Minnesota taking game 2, and then I have Houston taking game 3. Mainly because, again, like the Yankees, their defense. I think the defense is a lot better than the Twins. But you never know. I could be proven wrong. This could all be blown out of the water and be really inconsistent, but irrelevant. So, I don't know. But, yeah, I have Houston in 3. Would you like to go, Mike, on the next one, Oakland and Chicago, or do you want me to?
I'll go. I haven't said anything about the Twins and Astros yet, though.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I'm gonna go about that. So,
okay,
this is where it gets interesting for me because I don't, like I said before, this is a tough series to kind of say anything about because this is both two good teams that had really good seasons and are very capable of going very far.
Yeah.
And I was on the fence about this, but I'm going to take the Twins. And I think mainly because while the pitching outweighs with Houston's pitching is going to be better.
Yes.
But
yes.
I think the hitting for the Twins has been pretty good. And I think that there's a lot of players on this team that have come up and have come alive. I think there are a lot of players on the team that really haven't, that I think were kind of like written off early, like in their careers. Like, they have players, I know, like Sano for a while was out of the league. Was out of like,
Nelly Cruz.
And yes, and so those are kind of players that were out of the league. Weren't really, like, you didn't know where they were going to go, what they were going to do. But he came back alive and actually ended up going to first instead of being at third. Yeah. He became a first baseman by trade. And so these are guys that have come back, have come alive. I think they have, I want to say...
Rejuvenated?
Yeah, like rejuvenated. They've kind of like really came back from the dead. And I want to say, who? There's the outfielder. What's his name? How's the B?
For the Twins?
Yes, Butner.
I'm not quite sure because like I said, I don't pay attention much to the Twins. Anybody other than the Pirates or anything, I don't really pay attention to. But I think I know who you're talking about. But they also have Josh Donaldson. Can't forget about him.
Exactly. He's another guy, man, that like was kind of bouncing around teams for a while, but he's the kind of guy who can really hit power. He's the kind of guy who can really, change the momentum of a game. So
Definitely.
I like, because of the hitting, I like the Twins better, and I think
Byron Buxton.
Buxton's that guy.
There you go.
So he's really, he's the kind of guy that can steal bases. He's the kind of guy who can get hits. So because of the Twins hitting, because of how good they've hit the ball, because of how, pretty much consistent they've been, I think they're going to go very far in the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say. I think they're going to go very far in the playoffs. I think it's their hitting that's going to bring them the farthest, the farther they're going to go. And I think that, I think they're honestly one of the better hitting teams in the playoffs. And that might be a little bold to say, but I think just because of what I've seen from them, what the hitting displays they've put on, I think that's what's going to cause them to go really far and ultimately bring them over the Astros. I think the Astros will take, or I think the Twins are going to take Game 1, and then I think the Astros will come back and take Game 2, and then, kind of get the Astros pooping their pants a little, or the Twins pooping their pants a little bit. But then I think ultimately it'll be a really good Game 3, and I think the Twins are going to take it. Overall, just because, like I said, they're kind of like, a really good team that's hitting really well all year, even to be as young as they are. And I think that's what's going to bring them very far in the playoffs, is what's their hitting. So I'm going with.
Who I think we should talk about before we move on to the Oakland and Chicago series? Nelly Cruz has a .303, the best on the team. He has a .303 hitting average. He's older, but he leads them, and he's basically their designated hitter. He's their designated hitter. And then you got Jorge Polanco, who's at a .258. And I actually forgot about this guy. He's a former Astro. Marwin Gonzalez is 5th on the team at a .211. And Miguel Sano, like you mentioned, .205. I see what you mean, but like, I think I think they're hitting. I think the batting will really be good for the Twins. I think there will be close games, but I don't really see Minnesota getting past Houston, mainly because of their outfielders and because of their pitching. I think if Greinke can stay consistent and Urquidy can stay consistent, guys like that, and if they had Verlander, who's, like I said, injured, I think they'd really be able to take it.
Yeah, I agree, and that's like I said. I think that's why it's a tough series to kind of judge, because this really could go either way. I mean, this could go either way. It could be one run, one play that determines this whole series, and that's one of these kind of series. Like, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to go really back and forth. And I think there's a lot of like factors that play into it that, like I mentioned, I know Jared mentioned, that kind of just come into everything. So it's really, really, really tough to say. And I think that you can argue either way, and that's what makes it so tough. I mean, that's what makes it so like putting everything out there on the limb to say like, oh, I think this team's going to do better, or it just kind of depends. But I think that's what makes it so interesting, and that's what makes it so tough. Very good points made. I'm ready to go on to the A's and White Sox if you are.
Okay. All good. I'm ready.
All right. So for this, I don't really see this being much of a series. I think the White Sox are going to take this in I'd say a rather, I don't want to say a blowout, because I don't think anything's going to be a blowout, but I think the White Sox are just going to.
Really?
I just think the White Sox are going to pretty much excel in this. I think they have a lot of guys who who I like in particular. Like I like Jose Abreu. He's come alive and he's played very well this year. And I don't know much about this team entirely. I don't really know much about the A's either, but I think more so due to experience, due to the type of team that the White Sox have kind of proven to be, the type of team that they've been in the past years. I think that there's kind of team that can do some damage. And like I said, I don't know much about the Athletics. I don't know, really, honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I couldn't tell you one player on the Athletics. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is, again, why I'm more so NBA.
Yeah.
But I kind of base it off what I know about what type of team the White Sox have been, the type of team that I've seen them to be. So I think that the White Sox are going to take this. Honestly, I think they'll take it 2-0. I don't really see much of a series happening. Again, I don't think it'll be anything of a blowout. I just don't think it's going to be the type of series. I think it's going to be kind of quick, kind of clockwork for the White Sox.
Yeah.
So I'll let Jared go talk on that now.
So, one thing you forgot to mention: how many games? 2-0, 2-1.
I think I said 2-0.
2-0.
I don't know if I said that or not. I might have said that, but I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. But I think 2-0. I think it'll be pretty much. I just don't see it being much of a series. Again, I don't think anything's going to be a blowout. I think everything's going to be kind of tight, 2-3 runs apart. But I do think it'll be 2-0 White Sox. Yeah.
Okay. I have Oakland actually. I have Oakland.
Okay. See, this is what I like. It makes things interesting. I like that.
Yeah. That's why like before we started, I didn't really want to tell you like who I picked because I wanted it to be
good thinking.
On the spot. Okay, so for them, I'm not sure who Canha is. Canha, I think.
I've heard of the guy. I think.
But he leads them in batting averages with a .246. The other guys I've never really heard of, except for I think it's Marcus. Yeah, Marcus Seaman. He's third with a .223 batting average, and in home runs, Olsen leads them with 14. I think their defense, honestly, because with the other teams, I went with defense. I think their offense can win this series. Honestly, they have good bats. You got guys like I'm trying to think of his name. You got really good guys. I can't remember his name right now. Pardon me, but yeah, you got good bats and everything, and you got in the defense. You got former Astro Mike Fiers, who has been a little inconsistent, but he's good. He's up there in age. I believe like 34. I would like to say, but you got Sean Manaea, guys like that, but their pitchers are really inconsistent. Their defense, you have to have defense to win championships. Like no matter what, what sport you're in, you have to have defense to win championships because you can't just base everything off of offense and then expect the defense not to do anything and you get the championship. Here you go, you have the best offense. But you got guys like Joakim Soria too, who's a little older, but again, consistent and then inconsistent. But yeah, I think their defense, their bats can really. I think it'll be more of a hitting series than it will a defensive series. The White Sox, on the other hand, they have guys like you mentioned. They have good guys, but I don't see Chicago like getting past Oakland, and Oakland actually won their division. They actually, for the first time since I think 2014, they won the I think the West. But yeah, Oakland. I have them going in 3, and then for the White Sox, Gerard Dyson got them from Pittsburgh. He's been more consistent since he went to Chicago. And you have Edwin Encarnacion.
Right, that's another guy that power, and I think hitter. He used to be an Indian. That's why I know a lot about him. And I forgot about him. You're right.
That's right.
So
he used to be an Indian.
Yeah.
And yeah, Yasmani Grandal. I don't know if you mentioned him, but Yasmani Grandal, a really good catcher. But I don't see their bats really. I don't really see their bats doing much. So I think because of the better bats in Oakland, it's going to be a more hitting series.
All right, so you guys will see a little cut. We had a little technical difficulty, but Jared was talking about, I believe it would be a more offensive series than a defensive series. So I'll let you go and continue elaborating on that.
Okay, I'm not sure where it cut off, but like I was saying, like you said about Chicago, they have Jose Abreu and stuff like that. But I have Oakland taking it in 3 mainly because of their bats, and I know the White Sox have Dallas Keuchel and guys like that, Giolito, but I don't see their defense really stopping the offense of Oakland. And now that we're done with that, I think we're going to go on to the NL, and the first one we would do is
do you want to do that, or do you want to continue going like next round on the AL side and then go all NL side?
I think I think we can do that. I think that'll be fine. What I had wanted to do originally was like go AL by round.
Okay,
AL,
yeah, we can go by
NL,
round. That'd probably be easier. Let's go by round then.
Okay.
We got it.